Hi, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Jen, and even though we are waiting for Hurricane Irma to hit, it's getting pretty windy outside already. I'm preparing some foods that if we lose power, I can throw it onto a tin pie pan and reheat it on the grill. So tonight I'm making a New England style boiled dinner. And I've got some of my vegetables are here in the sink. I've got my pork roast, and I'm using half apple juice and half unsalted beef broth as my liquid. All right, so I'm gonna pour, I've got about 2 cups here. I'm gonna use 1 cup for now, and then I'm gonna use the rest when I add my vegetables. So I'm using the trivet that came with my Instant Pot, settling it right in there, and I've got a little over 2 pounds of a pork sirloin roast. Not the typical cut for a New England boiled dinner, but it's what I have and it's what I want to make. So I know I sound like a broken record. I say this on all of my videos, but it seems to be helpful. Don't forget that whatever I'm putting in the pot, if it's cold, will take longer for the pot to come to pressure. I've let my meat sit out on the counter for about an hour so it's not cold right from the fridge. And my broth is room temperature, so it'll still take a while, but remember, if you're using cold ingredients, it's gonna take your pot longer to actually come to pressure. So I've got my meat in there. I'm gonna drizzle just a tiny bit over the top. Very simple. Make sure your ring is all settled in. Lock my lid, get my vent, swap it over to sealing. All right, and I'm gonna go to meat stew, and I'm gonna change it up to 60 minutes. All right, so I'm just gonna leave that. So I'm just gonna peel up my potatoes and my carrots. When the meat is done, I'll take it out to let it rest, and I'll throw the veggies in. Hi, we're back, and my meat has cooked. It's actually done a natural pressure release for over an hour because we ended up taking the dog for a walk. So at least do 15 minutes of a natural pressure release before letting it go. But let's check it out. All right, so here's the pork roast. Let me just check it out real quick. Perfect. It's so tender. So I'm just gonna let that rest over here for a few minutes. It's really good. So I'm just gonna kind of let it relax. All right, I'm gonna put the rest of my apple juice and beef broth in here. I'm gonna add a little bit more beef broth because I want these vegetables to actually soak up the flavor of this liquid. And I'm gonna add some spices now. And I just eyeball it. I'm not a real big recipe person, so you know, this is just dried thyme, and if you smush this between your fingers as you put it in, it releases more of the flavor. So there's some thyme. I've got some peppercorns, just a handful. Peppercorns. I'm gonna do some dried minced onion. I'm gonna fill my whole cap with that. Just dump that in, and 1 bay leaf. All right, so I've got, I don't know, I probably did about 8 to 10 potatoes. I really like leftovers with this meal because I dice it up after and make a hash out of it. So I've got about 10 carrots and maybe 10 potatoes, just cooked up, chunked up nice and big. I'm gonna dump those all in. Really like the flavor of that liquid to get into these veggies, so. All right, so I'm just gonna flip my lid over, make sure that ring is back down. If that ring isn't down, it won't seal. So I'm gonna lock my lid again. Make sure the vent is on seal. I'm gonna go turn that off. Manual, I'm gonna do 10 minutes. My veggies are done, and it's only been about 3 minutes since it beeped, but I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick release. So while I'm waiting for this to finish releasing the pressure, I wanted to tell you guys that It only took about 10 minutes for this to come to pressure, the meat, not the vegetables. Yeah, so I had room temperature roast, 2.5 pounds, and a little over a cup of room temperature liquid, and in 10 minutes it was up to pressure. So, all right, it took about 3 minutes for that to release, but it's finally done. I'm gonna take the carrots and the potatoes out and throw the cabbage in for 0 minutes. Oh, it smells so good. Look at those. They're a little delicate. I'm gonna just take a, all right. So I just took all my veggies out. I made a lot. I do think that the potatoes are a little too soft, so I think next time I would probably do only 8 minutes on these, but that's all right, because we're still gonna like them. So into my hot liquid, I'm gonna add a little bit more beef stock because I want this to be all under the liquid to soak up all that flavor. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in my wedged cabbage. I'm gonna put the lid back on again. Now, since my lid is still really hot, there's a good chance it won't seal because this is kind of stretched out. Now, I could run it under cold water to get that seal nice and tight again, but it's cabbage and it's gonna cook so quick that I'm not really worried about it. So I'm just gonna go ahead, put this back on, lock it up again, put it on sealing. I'm gonna do manual for 0 minutes, and that should be perfect. So the cabbage is done, and I just wanted to explain something real quick about that 0 cook time. For anyone who's new and you think, how can something be cooked for 0? Just coming to pressure cooks it. That's all. So you don't need actual cook time, you just need the coming to pressure, and it's perfect. It is soaked up all of the broth flavor, nice tender crisp. It's absolutely perfect.